So, continuing in the Life, Mike, and Beyond documentary series, we want to continue to reflect, and I guess this episode will be more reflective on some deeply personal items that I went through, starting with my near-death experience involving the Overland Police Department in Overland, Missouri, which is basically a suburb of St. Louis. I guess if you can, I'll give you all this reflection that I'm having, being able to look out over the water and find my thoughts. So pardon me as I find my thoughts. So if we could rewind back to, say, about 1988, 1989, somewhere around that time, late 80s, we'll set the theme. I know we were in a Buick Skylark at the time, and my grandfather, may he rest in peace, had bought this Buick Skylark for my older brother, and that was his main mode of transportation. So I guess he's like a late teen, maybe 18, 19, something like that. Good morning. At the time, and it was a mode of transportation. It was a way to get around. It was a way for a mahogany male of color to go through that process. So in that process, one day we pulled up to a department store in Park. Sort of like a Venture, sort of like a Target, might I say. The store was Venture in Overland, and the parking spaces were pretty tight. So when he pulled up, my brother pulled up in the car, and I'm on the passenger side. He had a tight part, so he had to kind of slide out of the driver's side to even get out of the car. So I don't think that was the particular issue that led to our event, but I guess subsequently, when we were coming out of the store from shopping, he had to slide almost like a shimmy back into the car. And, we pulled off, and we went to the gas station, which was down the street, maybe like less than a half mile down the street. And we came out of the gas station. So we came out of the gas station, and we pulled up at a light to make a left, actually, onto, I think that was Page Boulevard, to go back up towards that Venture to get on, to head home. But like I said, I was in the passenger seat with my seatbelt on when the music was blaring, so we were both kind of in our zone. We weren't really paying attention to our surroundings, but I happened to look up. I looked to my right, actually, and I'm like I guess a 6, 7-year-old kid, I don't know. And I looked up, and it was a gun pointed at my face through the window. I remember it distinctly. And then I looked to my brother's side, on the driver's side, and he had guns pointed at him, and I tapped him. And then he looked up, and that's the only thing that really preserved our lives, in my opinion, in the late 80s. Because the guns were drawn, and that officer could have easily shot me as a 6, 7-year-old kid, in the head or wherever, point blank range. If we pulled off, or if she thought I was reaching for something or whatever. But by the grace of God, she did not pull that trigger. And we went through that process. We were ordered out of the car. I'm crying, I'm sobbing, I'm a little kid, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what's the charge? What's the charge? And apparently, I got put in handcuffs and the whole nine. So apparently, an older white lady had called the police on us at Venture when we were pulling out to say that my brother was stealing his car, stealing his Buick Skylark, just because, like I said, he had to, shimmy and get into the vehicle. And from that one phone call, it almost changed our lives and the trajectory that our lives were going in an instant. So, I say that to say this: you gotta know when something of a suspect class and character is going on. It's good to be vigilant, but it's also not good to rush to judgment, because in those judgment calls that you're making, if they're incorrect, you could, ruin or end someone's life in that process. So you want to be able to not only, be vigilant, but to be cognizant when you're putting someone's life in peril, because you could easily put someone's life in danger by making a misguided judgment call on something. So they, everything kind of flushed itself out. They found out that the car was his, the paperwork was legit, registration, insurance, and license, and they told us what happened and they let us go. But I was so shaken by that event that it definitely changed my life. How that was probably my first really encounter with the police and racism, in a sense, because it was a racial connotation. I don't think if you take, another person of another color, creed, what have you, in St. Louis at that time, that would have went down like that. I don't think, there was a white kid, if they would have called the police and, did all of that there. So you live and you learn. The next item is accidental drowning that I almost was completed, actually, but it was incomplete, thank God. So in grade school, my mother told me not to go to this particular pool that was in a community next door to ours. After school, to go home, I could go outside and play, go to the basketball court, or go to my friend's house or whatever and play, but don't go to the community next door and go to that that pool area. So me being the exploratory person that I am, not necessarily disobedient, but just being exploratory. But I guess in a form of disobedience, I went one day over to this community with my friends at school. I had my swimming attire on and so on and so forth, but I wasn't an avid swimmer at the time. I didn't know how to swim really good, so I sat on the side of the pool, but I happened to be having my feet in the pool on the deep end for some apparent reason. And I never forget one of my classmates, a little white girl, she, jokingly pushed me in the deep end while I was sitting on the side of the pool, and man, I literally almost drowned because I was panicking. And I remember one of my friends, Elliot, I'll never forget his name, a little Dominican kid, Dominican American kid. And he tried to jump in and try to save me, but I was so panicking that I was pulling myself and him down in that process. And then in addition to that, he had to kind of, get away from that because he didn't want to be, drowning himself in that process. So somehow I just kept going under. And then I remember distinctly that one last time that I was, floating to the bottom, and I said, I want to give up because I don't have any more energy. I don't have any more power. I'm trying to get, my bearings about me and trying to, get my head above water so I can yell for help, because there were other people, sitting around the pool, and sometimes people may not know emergencies going on. They might just think you're playing or whatever. And I said, I'm gonna give up. But something in me, it's almost like a guardian angel or something that said, don't give up. This is not your time. This is not your script. This is not your prophecy. This is not how it's going to end for you. So in that split second decision, I did one more push. I said, I'm gonna do one more push to get my head above water, and I'm gonna yell for help, and hopefully someone will hear me. And I did that. I got my head above water, did that quick push, and got my head above water, because I'm like in maybe 6, 7 feet of water, and I'm definitely not that tall at that time. I'm like, I don't know, 9, 10 years old, something like that, I don't know. And I got my head above water, and then next thing I knew, a white guy had jumped into the pool, the Olympic, dived into the pool and came in and got me, and saved my life, essentially. And I remember him, but I remember that I tried to look around, because I wanted to go and thank him for saving me and preserving my life, to see another day. And I never saw him again. It's like he almost vanished in a sense. He was there for the saving, but when I looked around to try to thank him or to greet him or to give him homage and respect, he was not to be seen. So I always took that as a guardian angel who's sitting right there on the side of the pool, knowing that I would go through that process, knowing that I was hard-headed and it's exploratory, and he was there, solely for that purpose. But to this day, I've never seen him again. And if he's really out there, that was LaCour Apartments in St. Anne, Missouri, off of St. Charles Rock Road. If he's there, and he was there that day in the 80s and saved a little Afro-American kid, reach out to me. Somebody knows somebody, and somebody said that story to someone. If that person is in existence, if he hasn't perished, have him reach out. This is the time. And then lastly, as we close out the episode, I remember a car accident that my brother and I was in once we were residing in Newark, New Jersey. So my brother had a Ford Mustang, Ruby, just like a red Mustang 2-door. It was a really nice car. I happened to not be wearing a seatbelt for some particular reason while I'm riding with him, but I remember that he had the green light. It was clear to me that he had the green light as he's going through it. I'm like maybe 12, 13 at this point. And the woman that ran her light, this was like on Corwett Street and one of those cross streets in Newark, in Irvington, New Jersey, and which is basically like a subsidiary, a suburb, what have you, of Newark. And she ran the light, and then I would just remember almost going through her car, and we hit on a driver's side, and she spent so erratically that she had to do like a 360, turn, to the infinite power, when she got hit. She just kind of spent like a spin top and thing. And I didn't have no seatbelt on whatsoever. And I just thank God that I didn't, fly out of the car, for not wearing a seatbelt at the time, and, having my life preserved. Because again, in this decision-making process, you never know what day is your last. So, all thanks be to God, Allah, Buddha, whoever your spiritual person, your spiritual infamy is, whoever your higher power is, whoever you fear in your process. So, we're coming up on, I think it's about 8 a.m. local here in Hawaii, so we're going to move on with the day, and, make sure you all able to, chime in and tune in to some of that we got going on, and also to give you some more live airings of the documentary. Hopefully these are some things that could speak life into someone, some episodes that are enjoyable, something that is relatable, and something that's entertaining. So we'll continue to air the live episodes, and again, continue to put your commentary, your questions in the commentary section at the bottom, and we'll add them to the documentary. Overseer.